Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Welcome to this episode of the Nut Closer Show. Happy Groundhog Day, everybody. Yes, it's February 2nd. For those that are watching us live here on Facebook Live, happy Groundhog Day. For those that are listening on iTunes and Stitcher, hey, hopefully you have had a great Groundhog Day for it being Friday. Things are rock and rolling along here this morning in the WCN War Room. We are working through some assets. Actually got we're getting a list of 100 plus notes sent to us later today that we'll start working on and do something next week, or we'll probably get something out by Tuesday of next week on this list, and advertise it for sale, take some bids, and we'll make some offers on some of the stuff as well. But we're pretty stoked about that. But today is all about the Groundhog Day Massacre. Now, yes, if you are paying attention, Poxitoni Phil, that stupid big-ass rat-looking thing, saw his shadow. And when he sees his shadow, what's that mean? It means 6 more weeks of winter, supposedly. Well, I hope you aren't putting off your success for 6 more weeks. That's the biggest thing I can tell you. I heard a interesting quote last night, or statistic, that Monday is the largest diet day for guys because it's the day after the Super Bowl. And obviously we have the Super Bowl this weekend. And it'll be interesting. I think it'll probably be a pretty good game. I honestly think the Patriots are going to come out on top. Tom Brady's going to get his 6th ring. Him and Bill Belichick as well. I don't have a problem with that. Hey, if you're great at what you're doing, if you're the greatest of all times, why not? So I know there's a lot of Patriot haters out there. I am not one of them. I actually admire that organization. I am a big Cowboys fan, so it hurts. But anyway, go Patriots. It'll be interesting. I will not be doing a lot of crazy stuff this weekend. It'll be basically probably a laid-back weekend for the most part, but I will be sitting at home watching the game for sure. But one of the biggest things I want you guys to think about is, going back to the topic at hand here, is, are you putting off your success for another 6 weeks? Do you constantly find yourself saying, I'll wait till next week, or I'll start on Monday? I know that procrastination runs throughout everybody. Look, I know. Look, I've procrastinated things. I find myself some days not wanting to do the things that I need to focus on. And I'm sure everybody else does that too. You get bogged down with the little things, and you look up and like, oh my God, where did the day go? Why is it 5 o'clock? Or why is it 6 o'clock already? I didn't get what I need to get done today. And you have to look at yourself and look at your schedule to see what you're accomplishing or what you're not accomplishing, or where you're spending your time at. Yes, there's programs you can get thrown on your computer, and it'll allow you to see what websites you're on, if you're effective or not effective. I honestly I'm not a big fan of those, because you can very easily label your Facebook time or your YouTube time or your other social media time as work, when we all know a lot of it probably isn't going to be work. It's going to be just looking and stalking and commenting on things that really have no bearing to your success. And so, while Groundhog Day, which should be known as Candlemas, was the point where people would put their candles away so they could actually work longer, versus having to use their candles to work by the light of the candlelight, I want to challenge you guys to do something. I want to challenge you that are listening or watching to go out and literally do something different with yourself here in February. All right? It's important that you guys work to accomplish something bigger this year. Otherwise, you're going to end up with the same old results again and again. And that's I'm a huge fan of the movie Groundhog Day by Bill Murray. Okay? I think a lot of people love Bill Murray, think he's pretty hilarious. If you think back to the movie Groundhog Day, what happens? Okay? He constantly is repeating the history, right? Repeating the same mistakes, and ends up with the same exact results. All right? What are you doing on a daily basis that's causing you to have failure at the end of the day? What are you doing every week? What are you doing every month that you're not seeing the same type of results? And I can't answer that for you. You have to answer that. All right? You have to answer that aspect for yourself. Otherwise, nobody can help you. And I really love that our guest Michelle Young yesterday talked about that. You really have to kind of come to a cognate or you'll be aware of what you're making. Be aware that we're all 6-year-olds inside of us. So we all have 6-year-olds inside of us, okay? That's important to first realize that, and then working yourself backwards to figure out, hey, what sets you off? What are the things that you're going to fail at? And to give yourself permission to fail at it, but also not flip to the worst possible reason for it. Well, what if this happens? And I see that happening all the time. I'm responding to somebody here. What I'm getting is I had a conference call Wednesday with a gentleman, great guy, very successful investor, and we were talking about it. He's bought a chunk of properties, and he owner finances them, fixes them up, and the owner finances does a wraparound mortgage. All right, good stuff. Nothing wrong with all. Okay. What he struggles with though is he's doing all the work himself. All right, he's going out one at a time, raising capital, literally the old school way of thinking. And I asked him, I said, okay, and we had this conference call because he'd won something on the Financial Friends Network cruise, and we were talking about, well, what are you doing for marketing? He goes, well, I have 0 social media. I'm like, okay, 0. You have a website? He goes, no. I go, well, why don't you have a website? He goes, because I'm scared. I'm like, because you're scared of what? Well, I'm scared of what the SEC could do to me. I'm like, well, what are you talking about? Are you doing anything illegal? He goes, no. He goes, I'm scared, and I'm just, what the heck did I start the wrong? Did I do the wrong thing here, guys? I just realized something. That's not No Night in America. Hang on here. Anyway, we'll get that later. I can fix it later. But what he was so scared about was the fact that he didn't want to put anything up because he was scared of something. And I said, well, what are you so scared about? You're not doing illegal. You're not pulling funds. You're not pulling, people together. You're not doing anything illegal. What are you scared about? You've got 60 plus deals over the last year that you've done. All right. And he's like, well, yeah, but I'm like, well, what's the but though? Look, if you do this and you do this and you do this, you're going to ultimately have success. But you've been putting off your success because of fear. And we all know fear is false evidence appearing real, right, everybody? False evidence appearing real. And it's just, I see this over and over and over again from people. And I just like, you got to have to start somewhere. You can't expect to have instantaneous success like that. You can expect, well, I'm going to do this right now. It's going to happen overnight. Well, it's not the case. This guy wants to raise $1 million and funds to take things bigger, but he's not willing to put in the foundation, not willing to grow the roots like we talked about yesterday with Michelle, to really drive things and help him make it a lot easier. Now he's got 3 to 6 months of putting an infrastructure in before he ever really has an opportunity to do it. And is he going to get around to doing that? Probably not, because he's got all these other deals that he's working through already. And that's the thing that is frustrating for me all the time. I mean, that really is what frustrates me on a regular basis. Is I talk to people, I see people struggling, I see what's going on with everybody. Okay, I did label it the wrong thing anyway, but that's all right. I see people that want to do big things, but they're not doing the little things on a daily basis. They're repeating the same mistakes day in, day out, day in, day out, day in, day out. And then they wake up the next day and they wonder why they don't have the type of success they should have. It's because of the fact that you have to break that cycle and start doing things. If you want to lose weight, you know what you have to do? You have to eat less and work out more. You got to be more active, okay? If you want to be a better painter, you got to paint more, quit watching TV, or you got to adjust that stuff. If you want to write a book, you've got to set away the things that you're doing and spend some time writing. You've got to practice your craft. You've got to work at these things to make things better. And Cedric Wilson, if you're a Cowgirls fan, we can't be friends. Or you're not a Cowboys fan, sorry, we can't be friends. Thanks, Eric Codd. Yeah, we got a big shout out here to Sign Depot behind us for the nice new sign. Really did a great job here on us. But anyway, what I'm trying to get at is you have to stop doing the things that you are doing and pull out a virtual gun and shoot that groundhog that you keep repeating on. I mean, it's Friday here, guys. You're supposed to be having some great stuff. It's already February 2nd. The year is a year. I mean, 1/12 of the year is done. What have you accomplished? What are you looking to make better about this year versus last year? And if you're not doing the things that you need to do, I can't help you. I can't help you if you're not going to do the little things and the basic things you have to do on a daily basis. I love the fact that people are up there. I've seen some posts about people going into LinkedIn and reaching out to asset managers, and they're connecting them and they're doing the things they're supposed to be doing. That's phenomenal. That's great. I love that. The thing that I'm not seeing, though, is I'm not seeing people literally going after assets. There are a variety of assets. I see some people marketing some things. I saw somebody posting an asset in Inkster. What should I do with this? Well, what are the numbers behind it? What are the deals? What's the interest rate? What's the payment? How long is left on the mortgage? How far defaulted they are? And that's what drives me bonkers a little bit. Is like, look, share what you have going on. Or somebody says, well, I have this situation. Well, where's the rest of the information? If you want us to give you an accurate information or an accurate answer or suggestion or give you accurate counsel, give us the full information. Quit doing things half-ass is the biggest thing I can tell you guys. Yes, I'm a big fan of delivered is better than perfect, but a lot of people are expecting to pull rabbits out of their hats, and they're not doing the things that you should be doing. You need to quit doing the things that are killing your business on a daily basis. What are some of those things that are killing your business on a daily basis? Okay, here's some of the things that are killing people's businesses, all right? And it's sad, all right? You're spending your time running around networking and not really doing the business. And what I mean doing the business, you're not reaching out to asset managers. You're not making offers on assets. You're not raising private capital because you're scared of. You're not creating and posting to social media things. Look, there are so many great things on social media. So I was talking about this guy the other day. It's like, listen, you could literally go on right now and go into different Facebook groups, different real estate groups, and add probably 30, 40, 50,000 people to your database. You could communicate with them almost instantly, all right, by posting stuff that you're doing, posting what you're working on. It's easier than it's ever been before to raise private capital if you have good deals. And yes, I'm a big fan of networking with people that have deals. And where do you go? Well, you reach out to servicing companies, you reach out to the banks, you reach out to the asset managers, the hedge funds that we know they have assets on a regular basis. Start looking at what they have available to make things happen. It is just what it is. That's the only way you're going to get ahead in life, is to massacre that stupid groundhog, to literally overcome the obstacles or the hurdles in your head. And it's sad, it's unfortunate, but until you get to that point where you can do that, you're never going to find success in anything unless you get your focus to it. And this means quit doing 12 different things. Quit going to everything and start doing. Sometimes you've got to stop traveling, stop trying to network, and literally start doing things. And I see that happen. Having a networking club is great. Networking meeting is great, as long as it's not the only. If you do it all the time, you have nothing to implement. Years ago, when I used to coach real estate investors back in 2004 to 2009, I would talk to a lot of people who were Ronald Grant students, and they had bought this huge package for $50,000 of 12 different classes. There's going to be a master's in real estate, I think is what it was. Well, they were constantly going every month to a different workshop, and they would have all these things that they would get at one workshop, and they start to implement it, send out leads or send out yellow letters or post an ad or something like that. And then they would take off to the next event. And I'm like, well, how many leads, how many phone calls did you get off this letter? How many phone calls did you get off the ad? Oh, I got a ton of phone calls. I'm like, well, then what happened to them? Well, I was too busy going to the next event. I didn't have time to call those. I'm like, so you just literally pulled out cash, lit it on fire, and burned it, basically. And I see so many people doing that. I see so many people literally running from one event to the next, to the next, to the next. Look, sometimes you've got to literally say, I'm not going to do that until I get such and such done. Sometimes you got to plant a flag and hold yourself accountable. I'm not going to go do that. I'm not going to eat a cheeseburger until I drop 10 pounds. Well, that could be very easy. You could hop your happy ass on a treadmill for a day or a bike and knock off 10 pounds if you really wanted to. Then you can have a cheeseburger. The idea is here, I'm not telling you guys to end what you enjoy doing or other things, but I'm just simply saying limit it. Cut it back and start putting more focus to what you're focused on, to what you really want to accomplish. Look, I get we all have charities that we're big in. We all want to be humanitarians. We all want to be, the people that are donating money and our time to causes. But if you're not putting meat on your table, if you're not accomplishing your goals first, taking care of yourself first, it's going to be really hard to give what you really want to accomplish or have that big impact later in life if you're not doing the things right now to set things up. All right. Set aside the toys and grow up and be a man or a woman who can literally do the things that you want to do because you are due diligent. You've heard the whole 40, the 40-year life, work 40 years, 40 hours a week for 40% of what you make. Look, if you want to accomplish big things, if you want to travel more, if you want to put your kids to college, if you want to retire early, you have to do things differently than what you've been doing. And that's the biggest thing I can tell you. Don't make February a repeat of January if you've not had the success that you want. Don't make this year a repeat of next year. If you have the same exact level of success this year as you had last year, some people consider that good. I consider that not growing. And if you're not growing, you're actually losing. All right. And everybody has different goals. Look, our goals this year is to be bigger than we were last year. Do more things this year. And what have we done with that? Ultimately, is I've carved back our travel schedule. I would have loved to have gone to Ironman. Would have loved to have gone to New Jersey, but those events aren't going to help us ultimately expand where we're going. That's why we've been focused the last weekend, this week, and the next 2 weeks on reaching out to asset managers and building those lists back up because we know that's going to feed the rest of the year. That's also why we've held our people that are going to go through that accountable each week. Look, put 4 weeks in, you'll have something amazing happen at the end of the 4 weeks. If we don't find any less, which it's not the case, we're already starting to see assets come in, you have a list that's going to help feed you for the next 9 months, 12 months, if you work it. Now, what's sad is when you tell somebody that, you're still only going to probably have about a 15 to 20% completion rate on that, because that's really where the success is. Only about 20% of people ever end up doing anything. And honestly, I think it's more so like 5% for the most part. Stick with it long term. And the question you have to ask yourself is, are you dedicated to doing something and being an expert in your field? There are people right now getting into whatever they're getting into who in the next 3 to 5 years will be an expert in their field because they'll be solely focused. There's people I haven't even met, people I've never heard from, okay, who will start investing in debt, will start doing non-performing notes, start closing on deals, who will be amazing in the next 2 years or next 3 years. Because if they do the right things, they're building things up and rocket forward. Steph has had some interesting conversations this week with some people who have been talking about getting in the fast track and our note mastermind group, and they're fixing flippers, and they're asking her ultimately, hey, can I just replace my fix and flip income? I'm like, well, yeah, it's not going to happen overnight, but it can happen if you focus on it. If you're still so busy trying to find other deals on your fix and flip side business, which you're not finding anything, what are you doing? You're pouring energy into a cup with no bottom. You're not being able to drink anything because there's nothing there to hold it in place. All right. You have to sit there. If you're really going to be serious, if you're coming over from the landlord side, coming over from the private lending side, those are easy transitions for a lot of people. They're just tweaking a few things. If you're coming over on the fix and flip side, you've got to change your mindset and realize I've got to do different things. Finding notes and finding assets on the note side is different than the fix and flip side. And a lot of people struggle with that. Okay. So you have to change, realize what you're going is after the debt. The numbers are different. I think the numbers are more plentiful here than those that are out chasing your distressed assets, your foreclosure homes, your REOs, that kind of stuff. So what questions, what things are you guys struggling with? I'd love it if you guys shared this, what you're struggling with, or if you're loving the video, go ahead and share this to your Facebook page and things like that on this Friday, on this Groundhog Day Friday. All right. I know that a lot of people are struggling with where do I, and I know that some people are like, well, what do I share when it comes to social media? Just start sharing what's going on in your life, sharing where you're going, sharing the deals that you're working on, sharing what you're looking for. Those are some of the easiest things to do. And most people, fear paralyzes them. Fear paralyzes them from doing anything. Well, I don't know how to market. Well, yeah, you do know how to market. I just saw you the other day taking a photo of something else that you're marketing for somebody else. I see that you are working on other things versus what you should be focused on, and you're marketing that as well. And that's great. That's fine. That's where your focus is at. Okay. That's where your focus is at. And if that's where your focus is, that will ultimately do your results. And if you are wanting different results, you've got to have different input. Okay. If you sleep till 2 every day and then don't get much stuff done and you wonder why you're not seeing any deals or things like that, that's the reason. You got to get up early. You got to make a change. You got to kind of shock your system to go do something different. All right, everybody? Questions, comments, concerns from anybody out there listening? Results, you've got to have different. Oops, hang on here. Okay. If you sleep till 2. Our audio on that aspect there for you. Let's see here. Julian says, my goal is to keep my planner up every day. I have to keep track of my day. If I don't, my day gets away. I'm not done nothing I want to do. Stay on track, keep moving forward. That's exactly. You live by your schedule. It's important to track your schedule. One of the easiest things to do is a lot of entrepreneurs get strangled by the freedom of entrepreneurship because they don't have a boss to dictate to every day. They're be directed to every day. So time blocking is a great one. So yeah, I totally agree with that, Julianne. Ferraro, great point. Jason Gray says, just do it. The fast track started. Oh, you took the fast track 18 months ago, and now I'm deal 31. Negotiating my next 28 this morning. That's awesome, Jason Gray. Very proud of you, brother. Doing some big things. All right. Deal 31 plus, and you got another 28. You're getting rock and roll. That's awesome. Robert Burrell, learn that about networking big time in IMN. If nothing to offer, most people aren't going to pay attention to you. Yeah, the biggest thing is Robert, if you're brand new, I don't necessarily suggest IMN being the event you go to. You need to close a few deals just to really take advantage of what IMN offers. IMN is going to have some bigger players there. And it's great to go because you're going to learn a lot of stuff. It's literally drinking through a fire hydrant and seeing where people are at and talking to them to see where they began. Okay. That's important with it. Okay. It's important to keep that in mind, take it with a grain of salt on some things. And this is one thing that you have to realize too, Robert Burrell. When you have people at an event that are employees of a company, that is not the same thing as being an entrepreneur. Okay. And so I think I've told this to you before. If I haven't, never, ever, ever let anybody talk down to you because you're brand new at something. All right. I'm not saying they did. Don't even get down that thing. But what I'm trying to get, this goes out to anybody out there. If you're brand new in note investing and somebody talks down to you, tell them to F off. All right. Because we all start in the same place. We all start at the beginning. We all start doing something that we have to do. All right. To get over the hump. We have to all get started somewhere. We're all new behind the years to begin with at something. Don't care who you are. And if you're putting your own money, your own time on the line without the safety net of having a salary like an employee does, it's a big different thing. You've got huevos, guys, gals out there. If you're doing your own thing out there and you don't have a job, you don't have a salary and all that stuff, you are huevos. You're putting your business on the line. Whereas employees for companies, don't let them think that their shit doesn't stink. They have a safety net. They're not the man and the woman that you guys are as entrepreneurs to make that happen. Okay? Keep that in mind. You mentioned about offering some of the 100 assets you're working on. What are the minimum requirements newbies have to have before you will last a bit on them? You've got to get your stuff in place. You got to have an LLC. We'll talk about some of that stuff here when we roll those things out in the next couple of days. Good morning, Lisa. Good morning, Daniel. Okay. We're all super proud of Jason Gray. Exactly right. Stephanie Goodman. Exactly. So, guys, if there's anything I could tell you that would be a great research or not research, but asset for you to do today, chart your day. Chart you did what every hour or half hour. What did you work on? Okay. If you do that for a week, you can then go back and look at your target, look at your schedule and see what you spent the most amount of time on or where you waste your time on. That was an effective tool that a previous employer of mine would have us do. When I was working as a new banker at JP Morgan Chase, we had to chart our hours. We had to chart our counts, so the accounts open and the account closed, the investments, the phone calls we made. We had to chart all that out and then turn that in on a daily basis. We did for a variety of things. It helped us track our commissions, but it also tracked to see how we were effective or not effective. If we had a long conversation with a client and didn't lead to anything, you had to learn to adjust your aspects. I still to this day, I'm guilty of that. If we get to a long conversation with people and it's going around and around and not getting to the point, I'm going to say, what can you get to your point? What I don't need all these details. What's the ultimate point going to be? All right. And that's one thing I keep in mind. You don't need to have a 50-minute conversation for a 5-minute discussion. All right. Get to the point. It'll save you time. It'll save a lot of others a lot of grief. You also get a whole lot more done and take a whole lot more serious on things. Okay. All right. Well, that's really all I have for you guys today. I want you guys to go out and make something happen. It's Friday. Guys, you control your own destiny. I don't control it. Your friends don't control it. You control your own destiny and what you want to accomplish. And it's ultimately up to you and what you focus on and what you do. So if you need to pull out a gun and kill that groundhog so that you're not doing the same thing today that you were doing 6 weeks from not doing the same thing 6 weeks from now that you were doing today, you need to make some changes to find success. That's the only way you'll ever be able to ultimately succeed in life. No matter what your focus is, focus on it. Get rid of the distractions. Get rid of the people that aren't going to help you accomplish those goals, and you'll be a whole lot happier in the long run. Trust me, it's well worth the time away from the things that you really enjoy doing to work hard on something to see the success, because it will just absolutely blossom and blow up in a good way most of the time. And if it doesn't, hey, if it doesn't work for you, trust me, talk to the people who have been there before. I guarantee they're willing to share with you their success stories and what they had to overcome or how they overcame those obstacles along the way. So with that, guys, that's going to wrap it up for this episode of the Note Closer Show. Go out, make something happen. Have a great day, and we'll see you all at the top, everybody. Bye.